This is Jonathan Ferguson, the Keeper of Firearms and Artillery at the Royal Armouries Museum in the UK, which houses a collection of thousands of iconic weapons from throughout history. And I'm your host, Dave Jewett, and as we've put Jonathan through a lot of cursed stuff over the last 12 months, we wanted to surprise him with one of his favourite movies, Hot Fuzz.
Prominently in that suit-up scene, we have a pair of pistols, and they get used as a pair later on. Taurus PT92. The other one there is the Jericho 941F. Both very similar, both chambered in 9mm, they would be, but excellent for firing two guns while jumping through the air.
And going, ah.
And indeed, going, ah.
There is an even longer, deeper, extended edition of this episode over on our Patreon if you want an even deeper dive into the armoury of Sandford PD. Link in the description for that. But without further ado, I'll throw it over to Jonathan.
Hooray! I think I've requested this one, and if I haven't, other people have. It's Hot Fuzz!
You've been such a good sport with all the cursed stuff, we figured how best to make it up to you. Let you finally break down Hot Fuzz.
The offender had the Kalashnikov.
What? Where did he get that?
There's so much gun stuff in Hot Fuzz, even when they're not using guns. Like they're talking about Danny's kind of wide-eyed, boyish enthusiasm about the idea of holding a gun or seeing someone shoot a gun is just so funny. It reminds me of Mike, the Territorial Army character from Space.
Sergeant Mike Watts, TA.
Oh, you bought from me?
Yeah. I've got a landmine.
Which is probably where they're basing that on, where he's he's much more self-serious and more of a nerd.
You've seen combat? Yes, I have. Where? On the television.
Oh god, yeah.
And Danny's just an action movie fan, so he's, to him it's not really real, and of course to Nicholas it is very real.
You do know there are more guns in the country than there are in the city.
Everybody and their mums is packing around there.
And of course everyone and their mums is packing around here. I mean, this is one of those things where if you're in the States or something, this whole idea of the town versus country thing, there are more guns in the countryside than there are in the city. I've heard that said, unironically, more than once. So it's funny even if you don't know where it's coming from. It's funnier if you have heard it said. This idea that somehow the countryside is more dangerous, which is nearly never the case. But of course, that's foreshadowing because there literally are more guns here than there are. Most of this stuff is foreshadowing.
I also grew up in the countryside of Wales, and I did get chased across a field by a farmer with a shotgun once. I don't think he ever intended on using it. I bloody hope not.
Did you kick his mum in the face with a flying kick?
Yeah, I did do that, to be fair.
You ever fired two guns whilst jumping through the air? No.
Yeah, the constant questioning about firing. Honestly, this is a huge, I guess following on from Blackadder, hugely quoted in the British Armed Forces as well. They absolutely love it, just like I do. Referencing Bad Boys 2, but of course firing two guns while jumping through the air and the various other tropes that are referenced really come from Hong Kong action cinema.
I think I prefer Point Break.
Really? Okay. I mean, I must admit, watching this for the first time, neither of these are anywhere near my favourite action movies.
No, they're not. They're not bangers, are they?
I think I kind of appreciate them more because they're referenced in Hot Fuzz. I think that's the whole idea. Like if he'd referenced the obvious, like Die Hard or something, it wouldn't be funny. But one is a surfer crime spree, and one is a sequel. I think that's the whole gag, is that he loves these things so much they are his personal preferences, and he can't imagine anyone hasn't seen them. And that's why there needs to be a Hot Fuzz 2, because that fits the whole theme of this film down to a T. And of course they directly reference scenes from Bad Boys 2, and Point Break in the movie. And we haven't even seen a gun yet.
I suppose.
Yes, I suppose.
One of my favourite scenes in the whole movie is the three-way translation scene. I have experienced this, or a version of this. I love how well-spoken Danny goes in his attempt to translate. Reference of firearms licensing, of course. Amuses our American friends no end. You have a license for that.
I does for this one.
Does for this one.
He does for this one.
And just the sheer Edgar Wright's directing style and the editing style fits so well in the whole movie. But just if you just shown the barn full of guns, it wouldn't have had the impact of just like flashing quick cuts of the various piles of stuff. And of course the sea mine. Now, I hate to say it, but Mr Webley, had he survived, would have been looking at a mandatory 5-year prison sentence for just about any of these.
He does have an impressive collection.
He does. Now, I won't say which force area this was, and actually I've had more than one of these calls, but I did once receive a call from a rural part of England from a senior officer asking me if if I could tell them whether the machine guns they'd found in this farmer's building were live or not. And I wish I'd had the presence of mind to say, I'm afraid it will incur a significant amount of paperwork, because what I had to tell them was that unless you send a car out to me, or I jump in a car and you tell me where you are and I drive there and I look at them individually in detail, no, I can't just tell you that they're deactivated, which it seemed like is what they wanted to hear. And I'd never got to saw this scene, but it sounded like it was very Mr Webley, and there was at least one aircraft gun turret in what sounded like a private museum of completely illicit firearms that this guy had. Never found out the conclusions of that story, but there's my Hot Fuzz moment, IRL, as it were.
That sound like the safest livestock in the UK.
Needless to say, I wish they had sent a car out for me. Now, on a serious note, please don't trust anyone who says that a large, ostensibly explosive object has been deactivated or is free from explosive hazard. We can't say that about something like that. You need a professional. Somebody call the police is the only appropriate response, certainly in the UK. If you find a shell or a bomb or a grenade or anything that appears to be explosive.
I mean, easily a couple of times a year, and a piece of unexploded World War II ordnance appears in the UK. Dug up in a construction site.
Including, if I recall correctly, a 1,000-pound aircraft bomb that was about 100 yards away from my old Horsell residence in Exeter, which was there while I was there and then exploded about 8 years ago, something like that, and did damage to some of the university buildings out of term time, thankfully. Love the sight gags, the 999 as being the access code. This is up there with the commando suit-up scene.
That's high praise.
Which it's no doubt inspired by.
The only bit that I thought was a little goofy was the shotgun stocks out of the backpack.
Yes.
They're so tall.
Yes. It's a bit of a reach, but they're trying to give him angel's wings. You see.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yes.
Oh.
So they've put shell holders on there and had them awkwardly sticking up so that they look a bit like wings, which clearly didn't work in your case.
Oh, I didn't know
Yes.
that. Well, there we go.
So I guess we should actually show a couple of these. Prominently in that suit-up scene, we have a pair of pistols, and they get used as a pair later on. Taurus PT92AFS. This one is actually in .40 caliber, Taurus written on it. Now I remember an interview with Simon Pegg when the movie came out, or maybe on the extras on the DVD, because I'm old, and he calls this a Beretta, and how he recognised it as a Beretta. Much as I love Simon Pegg, he's wrong. This is not a Beretta. It is a product of a former licensed Beretta factory, i.e. Taurus SA. Taurus later on diversified and made up their whole range of original designs and derivatives, but they sort of made their name with Beretta 92 copies, or close derivatives. The other one there is the Jericho 941F in this very same two-tone scheme. So a stainless frame and a blued or black slide. This has gone by various names. Baby Eagle is one of them, but the Jericho is the original marketing term, name for it. Israeli made, and it is a CZ75 derivative, not so much a copy. Both very similar, both chambered in 9mm, or they would be. I mean, they will be in the movie. This one's in .40 here. But excellent for firing two guns while jumping through the air.
And going, ah.
And indeed, going, ah.
You can find a longer, deeper, nearly 40-minute long extended director's cut edition of this episode, which also includes some bonus Shaun of the Dead breakdowns over on our Patreon. By becoming a patron, you'll also get early access to next week's episode on the finals. In fact, you get early access to all of our future episodes, as well as other exclusive Patreon videos. Either way, whether you support the Patreon or watch along here on YouTube, I want to say thank you for watching, supporting EXP, and we'll get back to the video.
And there we have a nice L1A1 self-loading rifle in 7.62 NATO. And I have an even nicer one here, walnut furniture. Before in the 70s, they changed to the nylon. This one, it's only the first one ever off the production line that we are very fortunate to have in the collection. One of a few serial number ones that we have in this wonderful collection here at the Royal Armouries, which does indeed house a collection of thousands of iconic weapons from throughout history.
So I've heard.
So I've heard that more than once. Now, can I show you? Yes, I can. So the serial number we have there. So hopefully it's visible. U for UK, E for Enfield, 57 for 1957, first year of production, and Alpha 1, serial number 1.
It really drives home how much of your vocabulary is Hot Fuzz references.
Nobody tells me nothing.
I was just going to say, I say nobody tells me nothing pretty much every day.
Whenever I text you asking if something's okay, can you do a certain date? The reply is often, yarp.
Yarm.
Of course, yeah. Why do you think I was so stoked that Beretta came out with a rifle called the NARP?
NARP?
I have even done walking tours of Wells with friends and family, boring them on the various venues. I have stayed in the Swan Hotel. I encourage you to visit Wells. Beautiful town, and you can see loads of locations from the movie.
This video brought to you by the Tourist Board of Wells.
No, lovely part of the world. Spent a better part of 20 years down there. Now, we do have to criticise Nicholas for the finger on the trigger there, I think. I think part of me wished that he would go lethal, partly because it isn't very realistic to be winging people and them not bleed out to the extent that he does. But it's in the spirit of the movie. It's essentially a British comedy, so people do die, but they die off camera. The 1887 shotgun. Now, my wife pointed out something I'd missed in my God knows how many viewings. I don't know how many viewings of this. Mr. Treacher gets hit in the face by his own fired shotgun cartridge case on one of his reloads. So the 1887 Winchester. Hard to say that's a good fit for his character necessarily, but it's a good concealment length for the coat he's wearing. The big coat, of course, foreshadowing again. But
So-
yeah, watch closely. You'll see it. He gets bonked in the glasses by.
As you were saying it, I was going through the footage, and I'm just chuckling to myself because you can really just see it bouncing off his face.
Doink.
That's really good.
Yeah, we've all been there. So points to Helen there for spotting that one.
Yeah, I really love that you don't really see one of the townsfolk using the same weapon as any other one. Like, everyone's got their own specific firearm that they seem to favour, whether it's a wheel gun or like an old 1887 or even an M14. You get real... When you start going through it, as we obviously do, you start to appreciate the real variety of different weapons that appear across at least this scene.
Now, one of the guns that caught me out, God, it'll be 20 years ago, next year.
I was going to say, you can tell this film is old because one of the supermarkets doesn't even exist in the UK anymore. The world's changed. We're in a post-Hot Fuzz era.
Yeah. No, we'll never be in a post-Hot Fuzz era. Anyway, so I don't think I knew, in fact, I'm certain, I didn't know what a Steyr-Solothurn submachine gun was when I saw this movie. And actually really nicely filmed. You really get the sense that this thing has some kind of heft and power to it as she's firing and it's moving, obviously firing blank. It's moving around in her hands and it's kind of Sterling, I guess if you knew, as I don't think I did then, about the Lanchester and things like that. Adjacent, but it's not that. It's this very nice design from Steyr-Solothurn with a distinctive cartridge or magazine loader built into the magazine well, where you pop your empty magazine out, you shove it in the bottom where it then stays, and you strip a clip load it from the top. Really interesting bit of design, not used in the movie of course, but nonetheless. Does change the lines of the gun a bit. Interesting faceted design to it, almost harking back to like old octagonal rifle barrels or something, I don't know. Yeah, just one of the really Gucci blowback submachine guns of the, well, 1930s in this case. I didn't tell you what it was, did I? MP34. So Steyr-Solothurn MP34. That's the actual National Trust shop. Another amazing line and another great pair of concealed firearms there with the Derringers.
Off, grasshopper.
Jesus Christ, as he falls over.
Jesus Christ!
In the interest of you wanting to get stuff bang on for this one, I don't know if it's a technicality, but the mini revolvers he has rather than Derringers. NAA Mini Revolvers.
Oh, right. Well, in that case, we can do better than that. So, what these are is one or other flavour of North American Arms Mini Revolver. Now, this is the 2.2 Magnum version. This is the 2.2 long rifle version. In the freeze frame I've got, they look like this. But unless the actor has very small hands, the proportions of the revolver is actually this. So maybe it's a model in between that I didn't see when I went to the drawer. But this is the family of pistols, revolvers that these are. Now, the grips have been removed and they've been attached to a sliding rig. But the Sherlock Holmes sequel with Moriarty, he's got a Sharps Derringer on a Travis Bickle taxi driver rig as well. This is probably not the first time Bapty did it, but same idea. They're very small. Some are smaller than others.
Those little 2.2s were enough to knock the wind out of him, at least.
Yeah, maybe we will call it 2.2 Magnum then. But yeah, shouldn't, of course, have had any real effect on him there. It would hurt, I guess, still, through 26 layers of Kevlar or whatever that is.
I've paused on a very upsetting still frame of this guy's, I mean, obviously fake toe, but
yes.
toe in the middle of the air.
Yeah, now, I actually remember, maybe it wasn't the first viewing, but one of my early viewings thinking, well, it's not really plausible that a gun would fire if you dropped it like that to cause that effect. I since learned that, I mean, it's maybe not reliable that you could do this, but pump-action shotguns are not known for their drop safety. Let's just say that. So it's not impossible by any means that you could pull that off. I did notice at one point that the inert cartridges in his bandolier, I guess, they appear to be solid resin, and the gold or brass paint on the rims is wearing off. Sometimes HD is not your friend.
Somebody call the police!
Now, because we have the foreshadowing that the Chief Inspector is a Western buff, he of course shows up with Colt Navies. Now, his will be reproductions. This I've compromised on, and it's an original that was refinished in the late 19th century, or later 19th century. So it's a sort of period refinish that means it looks like it might have when it came out of the factory. Really nice example. Perfectly lethal, of course, for 6 shots, albeit ballistically not exactly a powerhouse. 36 caliber, very low velocity, black powder. But given that this police service would not have access to firearms, back in the day they did, potentially. They would have an armoury with a few revolvers, maybe some shotguns. By this period, firearms are a specific role within the police, and you would have, one of the neighbouring major towns or cities would provide armed police support as required. Him only having access to this, okay, the other members of the Neighbourhood Watch Alliance have some much better weaponry. But I guess something he could plausibly have around that wouldn't raise suspicion. I'm overthinking it. It's purely a character-driven choice. We can tell they're reproductions because the frames are brass. There were some Confederate copies of the Colt using brass frames, but these are very shiny and new.
Want anything from the shop?
Nice slick little reload there before he pops to the shop.
Yes. The Taurus really is a bit of a hero gun in this film, and that is a nice reload. This is more like a highlights reel of the whole movie.
It's just the final third, really, unedited. I think a lot of Brits have had the sensation of rewatching Hot Fuzz after some time and then going, is that the Hound?
Yarm.
Well, yeah, less so for me, because I wasn't really a big Game of Thrones person. But he's definitely made good following this. He's been in a few things, I think. Now, this did break my immersion. If you get as far as you can be immersed in an action comedy, but
I mean, I can step in here. I've worked behind one of those counters in a supermarket. They're not bulletproof. Things much lighter than a bullet or a shotgun shell have broken them.
that glass does look quite thick when they finally break it. So I'm going with bulletproof glass on the counter because they were expecting some kind of firefight.
They're expecting a Summerfield siege. And I am afraid to say that my time in the supermarket, I did also have to wear one of those silly hats and aprons.
Did you? Excellent. Are there any photos of this?
Yep, I know you're not getting them. And that is to you, Jonathan, and whoever's editing this episode, Chris or Adam, because I know they'll ask.
Traditional car chase with gunfire, of course. Skinner has a USP Match, which may even be one of Lara Croft's, since that was Bapty as well.
Part of me wished he had a Walther PPK as like a nice nod to him being Bond.
They even had them in the movie.
Yeah.
Why did they not give him a PPK?
Maybe it would have been too on the nose.
Have I never thought of that myself?
Bang, bang!
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I don't think
That's
I
interesting. Love this one. More foreshadowed stuff from the model village.
What is it? If you want to be a big cop in a small town, f*** off up the model village.
Yep. And he does.
I don't know how much Hot Fuzz has made it over to the US audience, but if there are anyone...
Not enough.
Any non-UK viewers watching this, and you haven't seen this movie, by God, please go and watch it.
Please do, and then ask us what all the references mean.
I mean, it's a movie absolutely chock full of references, but it does references in some of the best ways I think cinema's ever seen. This scene, I can't even watch it. It goes through me. There's something so visceral about it. I hate it.
It's a great blend of practical and CGI. There's quite a lot of CGI in this film, subtly. The fake out ending as well. James Cameron, aliens.
It's so
You think
grim.
it's over, it's not. The bad guy is never dead the first time. Or never out of the picture the first time.
But another reference, isn't that the spire that falls on Tim Messenger?
Yeah.
So they have to break it off to free him from the miniature.
It's the church. Yeah. The bit that gets real Hot Fuzz nerd fact here. The bit that gets pushed off and kills Messenger in that horrific, unrealistic manner is not part of the actual church. They fabricated a base for an additional, I'm not even sure what you'd call it, that they then push off. And then if in the helicopter, or I guess it's a helicopter shot at this time, you'll notice that's not there. This thing is between the spires, and it's not there in the wide. So it was put there specifically to push off.
I feel like I should say something smart.
Well, I'm glad we finally got to look at Hot Fuzz.
Me too. That was a lot of fun. Thank you for that.
A gift to you and to the world.
Well, hopefully.
You don't have to say anything at all.
Thank you all for watching. Let us know what you thought of the episode in the comments section below. And while you're down there, let us know what other games, movies, TV shows, or beyond you'd like to see on EXP. As always, a massive shout out to all of our supporters over on Patreon, without whom we wouldn't be able to make an episode like this. Links to support Jonathan and the Royal Armouries will also be in the description below, so make sure you check those out. Until the next episode, thank you again for watching, liking, subscribing, all of that good stuff, and we will see you very soon.